Mm. Speed. 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 Garage. Wait a second. Boom. Ano?
Yo guys, Code Life here. So in today's video guys, we're going to be checking out a few pro player updates that have happened very recently. We've got an update from Ninja, who's changed out his old temporary mouse for a brand new one. We've got Tfue, who's completely switched over from a wired mouse to a new wireless mouse. And we've also got Raider464, who's gone ahead
Ano? Um,
Hello. Hello.
Chimney. Na chimney cái rừng á. Anana. Anana.
and raised his Fortnite sensitivity. There's only a few updates to get through today, guys, so the video won't be too long, but if you guys do enjoy this video or these pro player update videos in general, then be sure to let me know, guys, by dropping a like on the video. Also, feel free to subscribe to the channel as well, guys, as we're getting so close to that 200k subscriber milestone, and if we could hit that, that would just be amazing. But yeah, let's now start the video off with checking out the fastest editor in the world's new Fortnite sense. So for Raider's new sense, he's increased his X and Y sense just last night. He was previously playing on X 0.135 and Y 0.135. However, now he's playing on X 0.145 and Y 0.145, which is a 0.010 increase. From what I've seen on Raider's Twitter, this new sense change has made the guy even more insane. Like, don't get me wrong, he was already super cracked before this sense change, but after this change, guys, he really does seem a lot more quicker on one, the editing, and number two, the flick shots. Literally, just take a look at this clip that he posted on Twitter so you guys can see for yourselves. His flick shots in particular were just on point and just so quick, it was unbelievable. But yeah, for now, he definitely does look really happy on this sense, and I think we will be seeing him stick with it for the time being. For the rest of his sensitivities, those are just the same. His targeting is still on 0.500, and his scope is still on 0.700. Same with his mouse DPI as well, guys, that remains still on 400 DPI. Also, for those curious of what mouse Raider 464 is currently playing on with this new sense, well, he's playing on the Final Mouse Ultralight 2, or Final Mouse Cape Town, whatever you'd like to call it. I know that there'd be a few of you out there that were wondering what mouse. So for this one, Blossom Bread. If you guys remember my older pro player updates video, well, the last one I did on Ninja, I covered in that video that Ninja was using the Final Mouse Ultralight Phantom temporarily, as he did unfortunately end up breaking his old Air 58 Ninja. Well, Ninja was still using that Phantom, guys, for quite a while until just recently, where Final Mouse did end up finally sending him out a new Air 58. So now, guys, Ninja no longer has to play on that old Ultralight Phantom, as he's now playing on his new Final Mouse Air 58 Ninja. And for those that are curious of how I know this update, I was actually checking out Ninja's most recent YouTube video where he was playing with a hand cam, and in this you could see him clearly using the Air 58 and the Ducky 1-2 Mini. So that does confirm, guys, he's back on his main mouse. But yeah, 58 and the YouTube video where he was playing with a hand cam, and he's now playing on his new Final Mouse Air 58 Ninja. And for those that are curious of how I know this update, I was actually checking out Ninja's most recent YouTube video where he was playing with a hand cam, and in this you could see him clearly using the Air 58 and the Ducky 1-2 Mini. So that does confirm, guys, he's back on his main mouse. But yeah, that's Ninja's new updated mouse, guys. Let's now move on to our final update of the day, Tifu's new mouse. So for Tifu's new mouse, he's finally switched over to a wireless mouse. Now the reason why I'm saying finally is because I don't believe we've ever seen Tifu use a wireless mouse before. Like, I don't even think he's even used or even tried the G Pro wireless mouse, which is another popular wireless mouse. From what I remember, I'm pretty sure we've only seen him try wired mouse. Like, if you remember that collection that I showed in a previous video on Tifu, all of those mice were wired. But guys, that does change today, as Tifu has switched over to using the 2019 released Razer Viper Ultimate, which is a completely wireless mouse. This new mouse replaces Tifu's old mouse, which was the Endgame XM1, which that mouse in particular, Tifu did seem to be liking a lot. Like, I was expecting them to move back to his old Final Mouse, of the main ones, such as their mouse, mousepad, keyboard, monitor, and headset. We'll be seeing how these have evolved over time. So, for example, if we take their mouse, we'll be looking at the first ever one they started playing Fortnite with, and how that mouse has progressed over time. Well, that's at least if it even has. It is still very possible that they are using the exact same mouse that they started playing Fortnite with to this day. But on the other hand, they could be using a completely different mouse to the first one they did start using, which that right there is the beauty of this series, guys, as literally anything is possible. Overall though, I really do think it will be pretty interesting to see how each pro player's setup has evolved over time, which, guys, check out the setup that Mongrel Corsair K65 His mouse was the Logitech G402, his mousepad was the Corsair MM1000, his keyboard was the Corsair K65 RGB Rapid Fire with the Cherry MX Speed Silver switches, his monitor was the Acer GN246HLB, which is a 144Hz monitor, and his headset was the Corsair Void Pro RGB in the colour white. Those right there are the first 5 peripherals that Mongrel first started playing with, and since back then guys, a lot has changed. Seasons and seasons have went by in Fortnite, and Mongrel has upgraded / changed a lot of peripherals, which I'll get into right now. The first upgrade that he made was a mousepad change. He went from previously using the small Corsair MM1000 to using a much bigger XXL mousepad, the Corsair MM200 Extended. This at the time guys was a massive upgrade, as Mongrel had like double if not triple the mousepad room he had previously, and that made it so he could move his mouse a lot more, and it made him a much better player overall. The next upgrade Mongrel made was Yo guys, Code Life here. So in today's time, which to kick this series off guys, RGB Rapid Fire with the Cherry MX Speed Silver switches, his monitor was the Acer can move his mouse a lot more, and it made him a much better player overall. The next upgrade Mongrel made was to his monitor. He went from using a 144Hz one to using a 240Hz one, the Acer XF250QA, which by the way, 240Hz was the highest refresh rate monitors could have at the time, so that was a massive upgrade to him. Following up from his monitor upgrade, Mongrel then decided to get a bigger mousepad. He got himself the glorious XXL. This mousepad right here was essential for Mongrel because at the time, even though he did previously have a XXL mousepad, it wasn't big enough for him because of how slow his mouse sensitivity was. Mongrel needed the biggest mousepad he could get on the market, so he went out and got himself just that. For the next change, this one is quite an interesting one as it didn't last as long as his previous changes. The change that I'm talking about here was his headset. He went from using the Corsair Void Pro RGB to using the SteelSeries Arctis Pro wireless headset, which the reason for this switch guys is because it was actually sent to him when he first joined FaZe Clan. If you guys didn't know, SteelSeries, the company that made this headset, they sponsor FaZe Clan, so they ended up just sending Mongrel one out for free. It was quite a shame though for them, as Mongrel didn't end up using this headset for that long. The reason for this was because around that time the World Cup was happening in Fortnite, and it had some very specific rules on peripherals. It had limitations for the monitors and the headset that the players could use, which if you guys do want more information on this, be sure to check out the video I made all on it. I'll leave a link to that below. But the limitations guys that they had on these peripherals caused Mongrel to 1, play with them and practice with them. What's funny about this is Mongrel actually ended up taking a massive liking to one of these peripherals, and that was the headset. The headset was called the Vitrix Pro AF, and Mongrel took this headset home from using it at the World Cup, and he spent a few weeks playing with it. I'm not joking guys, he really did like this headset that much. Like he literally took it with him from New York all the way back to the UK. The next change that Mongrel made was to his keyboard. He went from using the Corsair K65 RGB Rapid Fire to using the Matrix Elite Series 60% with Cherry MX Silver switches. I believe the reason for this switch was because Matrix, the company that made that keyboard, went out and sent it to him for him to try it out, which Mongrel did, and he did enjoy it for quite a while. Like again, similar to his headset, I believe Mongrel did play on this for about a month or so. For the next upgrade though, Mongrel got himself a new mousepad. He got the BenQ Zowie GSR SE in Davina Pink. The reason for why he got this was because of a recommendation from a duo of his at the time, which was Mitro. Mitro said that he really enjoyed this mousepad because of the special coating it had. So because of that recommendation, Mongrel did decide to get it, and he placed it on top of his glorious XXL mousepad. The next change that Mongrel made was to his headset. He went from using the World Cup Vitrix Pro AF headset to using the HyperX Cloud 402s. I'm not sure exactly on why he did change this, but I'm pretty sure it was to do with the sound and bass settings to this headset. The settings that I'm talking about here are the bass boost settings that I already did a video about, which I will link to in the description below, but I believe that was the reason why I switched to this headset, as I think they do work a lot better on the HyperX headset rather than the Victrix Pro one. It's possible I could be wrong, but I'm pretty certain that's the reason why. For the next upgrade he made, Mongrel switched out his keyboard again. He went from previously using the Matrix Elite Series keyboard to using the Razer Huntsman Tournament Edition in the size 10 key less. The reason for this change right here, guys, was purely because of the switch speed. The switches on the Razer Huntsman Tournament Edition were the Razer linear ones, and these are so much more faster. Alone, he went from previously using the BenQ Zowie GSR SE in Davina Pink to using the exact same mousepad but in the red edition instead. Literally, he just changed it, guys, for the design alone. For the next upgrade Mongrel made, he decided to switch his keyboard out yet again, guys. This is the third time he changed it. This time though, it really was a good reason, as he upgraded his keyboard to using the fastest one on the market in terms of switch speed. He went from using the Razer Huntsman Tournament Edition to using the SteelSeries Apex Pro in size 10 key less. This upgrade right here was a huge one for Mongrel, as literally the switches on the Apex Pro are insanely fast. Like, they're faster than the ones that were on his Corsair keyboard, his Matrix keyboard, and his Razer keyboard. This one beats them all by a massive margin, and Mongrel literally takes full advantage of it, as he's got his actuation point set to the lowest one possible. GSR SE in the red edition to using the exact same one, but this one is completely different to the rest, as it's a custom Mongrel made one. That's right, guys, Zowie BenQ, the maker of the GSR SE mousepad, they made Mongrel his own mousepad with his own past 2 years. It started off looking like this, but over time it slowly evolved into looking like this. As you all seen, every single peripheral has evolved except his mouse, the Logitech G402. That's the mouse he started using.
What's up, guys, it's Kamala here, and today I'm going to be showing you guys how pro players position their keyboard and mouse, and as well how you can find a way to position. Being in a good position can not only help you increase your gaming performance, but also help you increase your health. I've seen a lot of gaming positions though, and somehow I don't know how these people are alive or their hands aren't broken. Now, in the past, when I was sort of make videos like these, I would take the top 10 players from Power Rankings, EU and NA, but not everyone streams, so I can't tell where their keyboard positioning is. So instead, I just took 5 pros / streamers on Twitch just to show you guys some examples of what other people use and how you can possibly change your keyboard positioning accordingly. So the first pro player we're going to be talking about, guys, is going to be the World Cup winner, Bugha. Now, when he first started using his keyboard and mouse, he was actually the first person that I've ever seen to use his keyboard in a perfect straight position. What I mean by this is every other Fortnite player that I've watched with a keyboard cam, they always had their keyboard at least a little bit tilted. He had his completely straight. I don't know if it had something to do with his wrist or the way he was sitting. But now, whenever Bugha uses his keyboard, he tilts it a little bit more up on the right side. I can also tell that his hands is also closer together because of how close his mouse is to his keyboard. It's actually so close that it gives me anxiety, because I keep thinking that every time he swipes his mouse really hard one day, he's just gonna slam it straight into his keyboard, and I know what that feeling is like. Not a lot of other streamers have their keyboard cam with their body cam, but Bugha does, and you can also tell that when he plays, he has really good posture. It's like he almost works on fixing his posture before he sits in his chair. It's actually really good, and I really think he's a good example of getting a good positioning. The second player I'm going to be showing is Mongrel, and I'm sure a lot of you guys already seen his keyboard cams, and you guys all know how crazy it looks. Now, when I first used to look at Mongrel's keyboard cam, I used to always think that his keyboard was perfectly vertical, but that's actually not the case. It actually doesn't go all the way down vertical to where it would just be a whole full 90 degrees. It's almost there, but it's not fully there yet. But honestly, I think him just not putting it fully vertically and having that little layaway is the reason between his wrist breaking and not. Now, I don't mean actually breaking, but I tried it fully vertically before, and you have to like really turn your wrist all the way around, and I really think that hurts. But I guarantee someone plays like that and they have a different position where they sit to where it doesn't hurt that bad. Now, I do believe Mongrel has a reasoning for having his keyboard like this. I don't think he just woke up one day and randomly wanted to do it. And most likely his reason for doing it is because Mongrel always had bigger keyboards. I have never seen Mongrel with a 60% keyboard. I've seen him with mostly 100% the most of the times he had a keyboard, and now he just moved to a TKL. But he's always had a bigger keyboard, and if you know, Mongrel does keybinds. Because I also tried to press a number keybind with my hand like this, and it does feel kind of hard. The third player I'm going to be showing you guys is MSF Clicks. Or vice versa, where their keyboard is more up and their mouse is more below. So Clicks is really good in the position, because I did look at his posture when he's sitting down. He doesn't have that bad of a posture. He does happen to have what people call a nerd neck, and it's where you like lean your neck forward when you're playing. And I do have this too. I'll either lean my neck forward or I lean my whole body forward, but I know I'm not supposed to, and I'm trying to get used to it. But if you do this and it is trying to hurt like your body or your neck, you should just move your monitor closer to you. Now, the fourth player we're going to be talking about is the EU player, Mr. Savage. Now, the way Mr. Savage positions his keyboard is he has it all the way up. He uses his keyboard more down towards him, and then he has it positioned where it's laying down from the right side, and then his mouse is positioned up above his keyboard. This is actually one of the most common positions that I see most people use. They always have like their keyboard down on the low and then their mouse up high, and it just looks like they have so much mouse room because their keyboard is so much lower than their mouse. Or vice versa, where their keyboard is more up and their mouse is more below. So Clicks is really good in the position, because I did look at his posture when he's sitting almost the top of his mouse pad. That means his monitor is kind of far back. And he has what I was talking about, the opposite of Clicks, where you have your keyboard above and then you'd have your mouse more below. This is kind of how I play. Now, Mr. Savage gives me a really good example when I'm talking about positioning. If you guys notice that Mr. Savage has really long arms, and it's why he doesn't have his keyboard like how Clicks is, where he has it all the way below, he would have his keyboard more far ahead of him so that he has his arm in a good position. Instead of him bending his arm, he has his arm fully forward, and I can just imagine that that's really comfortable. When it comes to his posture, he also leans forwards too. I'm pretty sure the only player I see that has like a really good posture that doesn't really lean forward is Bugga. Everybody else always leans forward a little bit. Now, I'm not saying that everyone's body is the same, but it could have effects on you when you get older. Now guys, of course the last person I'm going to be talking about is the most clouded Fortnite streamer on Twitch, and it's gonna be Tfue. Now, I know when I said about Bugga, but maybe he's also trying to get used to a new keyboard position. He's been using it mostly as it because he has a really low sense, but I know that his arm does not reach all the way down there. I mean, I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure for his arm to reach the other end of his desk, he'll most likely have to like move his chair over also. Alright guys, so now that you guys seen most of your favorite pro players or streamers setup, it's time to figure out what you would like for yourself. Now, obviously stuff like this is personal preference, but I'm just going to give you guys a little bit tips so it's a little bit more easier for you if you still can't find the right spot. Now, let's say you have a really big keyboard, but you didn't have that much mouse room. Most of the times, you want to put your keyboard more down, kind of like Mongrel's keyboard, or not too much like his, but just a little bit more down than a normal keyboard. Also, I guess up could work, but I think that would be really uncomfortable, and I don't really see anybody putting their keyboard like all the way up. Now let's say you do have 100% keyboard and you have a lot of mouse space. Just try your best not to have your mouse and your keyboard perfectly in line. The reason I said this is, say you're swiping and you swipe over and then you accidentally hit your keyboard. I think the best thing is, unless you have your arms really far apart, is to have your mouse either a little bit below the keyboard or a little bit above the keyboard. Now, if you have a 60% keyboard, I really don't think you need to angle it as low as mine goes, but you can angle it what it feels best to you, since it is really adjustable to have a 60% keyboard. Let's talk about your arm.